that the source of joy is within yourself. Unless and until you seek yourself, you cannot seek God. They have all talked about the second birth. What we call the baptism is also the same, where you have to be born again. It is not just a formal one that is done by unauthorized people. Even the word Musalman, Muhammad Sahab has again and again talked of a rebirth. You have to find yourself. How do we find ourselves is the problem. Is there something like self? Is there really something like God? Or it's all a myth? Is there any fact in following a religious, holy life that you get your salvation? So far, we have had no proof of it. Naturally, in this scientific world today, you have to give the proof of everything to convince people so that they seek themselves. But the science tells us that we were evolved from a little amoeba to a human being. Why? Why God took so much trouble? If you don't believe in God, we can say nature. Why nature worked so hard to create a human being out of a small little amoeba? Supposing we assemble some screws and we try to work out something, a passerby would ask, why? What are you going to make out of this instrument? What are you doing? There must be some reason why we have become human beings after so much of evolution. But science doesn't think of why. It just tells you this is. And whatever is not there, it says we can't explain. The instrument, whatever it is, supposing has to work on electrical energy or on any energy whatsoever, will come into force or will start working out when it is connected to the mains. Otherwise, it is still in the making process, or you can say it is in transition. Human being as such is in transition. It has not found its own meaning. He does not know why he exists. What is the purpose of his life? It's a meaningless life. So, you have to be connected to the mains. That's what everybody has been saying, that you are to be reborn. You have to become that. Now, those who talked of this were born on the 10th story. The rest of them are on this earth. When they talked, it all went over their heads. You have to at least reach the first or second story to understand that there is something beyond this human consciousness, this human awareness. There's something more to this awareness. There's a more opening. There's a greater dimension which one has to achieve to understand your own meaning. About Kundalini, All the scriptures, I must say, have described it. All the scriptures, without exception. Of course, in India, there has been a very deep meditation tendencies thousands of years back. And some of the seers, long time back, found out about Kundalini. And even in Dheranda Samhita, Kundalini is described. That's as old as, I should say, about Vedas. We cannot say the origin of these books. Kundalini has been described in that. Kundalini has been again and again described and also abused and misused and misrepresented. All sorts of things have been done about Kundalini. In the Bible, Kundalini has been described in such a manner that it is not called as Kundalini, but they call it as tree of fire, tongues of flames. Many such adjectives, descriptions are used, but they have not used the word Kundalini itself because it is not written in Sanskrit language. So there must be some mechanism within us by which we are reborn, no doubt. There has to be some mechanism. If I am speaking through this mic to you, there must be some mechanism which is doing the job. In every seed, there is a primule, the mechanism, which germinates and creates a big tree out of it. In the same way, we have a mechanism placed within us. But this is a very subtle thing, while human beings are absolutely gross. In this Kali Yuga, modern times, they are even worse. Extremely gross. And they cannot think of something subtle. If I tell you there is an energy which thinks, organizes, loves, we cannot think of such an energy. But how do we organize? How do we think? How do we love? From where do we get that energy? Why shouldn't we think about it? But as I said, that modern man doesn't think of how. He takes it for granted. So, today I want to tell you about this mechanism that exists within you. It should not be just a mental feat with you. No. It should not be the so-called knowledge of Kundalini from outside. But it's a happening where the Kundalini rises and you get that, whatever is promised in all the scriptures. Today the time has come to prove the existence of the divine power of God all around us. We have been going and praying to God. Does He listen to us? Are we connected to Him? We do namaz. We spread our hands towards God Almighty. Are we connected with Him? Or we are just doing a mechanical thing? Even so many people are doing SahajaYoga. They think they are doing it in the name of God. Is it the correct method? Can we do anything about it? If it is a living process, if it is an evolutionary process, we must think we have done nothing for our own evolution so far. From amoeba to this stage we have come without doing anything about it. We have taken our human life for granted. So what can we do about it? If it is a living process, it has to be spontaneous. It has to work by itself, like a seed which is planted. Germinates by itself. At the most, a gardener can pour little water. I can pour water of my dove on your seed. At the most. But the seed has to germinate by itself, spontaneously. It is a living process and not a mechanical process. Perhaps we never realize what is a living process because we take it for granted. You see so many flowers turning into fruits, but we never think how it happens. We have no idea of spontaneity. We think by doing something, we are being spontaneous. So one has to be effortless because Kundalini is born with Sahaja, born with. Saha means with, born with you. Ja means born. So awakening is a happening which happens to you when somebody who is awakened, like an enlightened light or a candle, comes near other lights which are not yet enlightened and enlightens spontaneously. Now you cannot argue it out. You cannot. You cannot rationalize it because rationality is a limited thing. You have to go to something that is unlimited. How can you do it with a limited mind? This is beyond mind you have to rise. If you argue it out, you are going to be away from it. But in science, we have found out many things which indicate, which actually prepares the stage for SahajaYoga, which prepares us to know that there is something beyond. We have accepted in the medical science that we have autonomous nervous system which works by itself. We call it auto, swayam, chali. Who is this auto? Who is this one? The one who beats your heart, the one who digests your food. When we say that it is done by a system, you just give it a name. But how do you explain it? You cannot do it. You may be able to increase the rate of your heartbeat, but you cannot decrease it. It happens spontaneously, automatically. How does it happen? By giving it a name, you do not explain it. In psychology, people have found out that there is something like a universal unconscious. There is something. Sarvavyapi Achetan, which gives symbolic suggestions in the dreams, which are universally the same. They have accepted this. They have proved it by experiments that there is an universal unconscious. So many of them. I shouldn't say all of them because, you see, after all, there will be always a controversy till you reach the truth. Human mind must have something to eat. But they have. They talk of it. Science cannot explain many things. There is another thing which science cannot explain is why certain things act differently in a human body. For example, there are two chemicals known as adrenaline and acetylcholine. They have certain chemical reactions, but in the body, they react differently. They cannot explain. They just say the mode of action of these chemicals in the human body cannot be explained. Finished. In the human body, or in any body as such whichever is living, any foreign matter is thrown out. But when a mother conceives a child in the womb, it is not thrown out, but it is nurtured and looked after. Who does that? Who understands that this is not a foreign matter, but is the future child? Is there somebody thinking inside in your uterus or something that is controlling? Who takes the decision? There must be someone of at least minimum of a human level who thinks for you. So already there are questions for scientists to ask, and they all can be answered. Because the knowledge of science is analytical, is in different corners, and gives you part knowledge. Now Kundalini can be seen. You can see the pulsation of the Kundalini, you can see at least. Many doctors have seen it now. In Delhi, of course, we don't have any doctors so far. I don't know if among you there are any doctors. But you can see with your own eyes the pulsation of the Kundalini very clearly. And if you have a stethoscope, you can even feel it. The rising of the Anahata means the throbbing. It can be done. But how long are we going to sit asking for proof of a Kundalini? Let us now see. As I told you this morning, you must accept this as a hypothesis. Modern times are the worst times. For one reason, that you have to explain everything, which is a very simple thing. As far as religion is concerned. As far as other things are concerned, you don't have to explain. People just accept. For example, if you have to put on this light, I have to just tell you that you go and switch on. That's all. Nobody argues. But today in the morning, I told somebody to put his hands towards me like this. He started arguing on this point only. Why should I do it? Now I said I have to tell you the whole thing. Why it is to be done. It's a simple gesture he could not do. And he has come here for the Kundalini rising, with all the rights on me. You can't even put your hands towards me. Arguments have brought you nowhere. You must understand. This talking blah blah has left you nowhere. What have you achieved in that? You think you have done this, you have built this building, you have done that. It's all dead things. Dead converted into another dead. What living work have you done so far? What have you done so far that you can call as living? You cannot do even a seed sprout. The one who does millions and millions of such things, billions and billions of these seeds sprouting. When we have to know him, at least let us have the humility to know that through your rationality and so-called intellect you are not going to know it. A little drop wants to know the whole of the ocean. How can you explain to an ant the human civilization and the human problems, and how can you explain to a human being the working of the subtle divine forces? God has been challenged by man. See the greatness. That's why in all the scriptures it is written, humble down yourself in your hearts. That doesn't mean that you give up your intellect. Doesn't mean at all. But you must have the balance of your heart also. So, with all these apologetic words and introduction, I'm now telling you about the Kundalini, where it exists. Because now don't start from the very beginning doubting. Please keep your mind open. Later on, when you get your realization through SahajaYoga, when you practice it, now we have many here who have got it. And they have seen the working of the Kundalini and have confirmed what I've been saying about it. But to you, it will be quite shocking. I know it will be. Because you cannot believe that such a thing can be inside us. Of course, the mechanism has been simplified because this is just I should say, a primary class, the first standard. So it has not been that complicated as it is. I'll try to make it simpler and simpler. But you must know that it is a subtle thing which you have not seen yourself, you have not felt it, you have not known it so far. It's something out of the blue for you. And in this so-called scientifically enlightened world, it may sound quite foolish to you that I am saying these things. But it is like this. Do not be fanatic about things. Even there are scientists who are real fanatics. Science is another obsession which has really killed their foresight. Can you see from here? Now, this is the picture. As they say, man is made in the image of God. We can say, now let us see the vastu, mean the object of which you are the reflection. So, we'll start from the top. When the child is in the womb of the mother, the energy which you do not know, the energy that is all pervading, called as Chaitanya, is the divine power of love of God, which is all around us. This sounds quite poetic only to people. Many people it's just a poetry, but it is not. It's a fact. Because we have never tried this power before. We only know the power of hatred. So this power of divine love of God, which is all pervading, which is all around us, descends within us. Yes, it does. In the human beings also, when the child is in the womb of the mother. The brain of the man is evolved in such a manner that it gets the shape of a prism, which has got three sides and a base. When this energy enters into the brain, then it passes into all the surfaces of the brain, and some passes through the center on top here. You can say not the center, but the apex, as shown here. At the back, it passes through the brain straight into the medulla oblongata, that is in the spinal cord, and forms your central nervous system. As you call it as CNS. On the other side of the brain, left side of the brain, it comes down this way, but when it has to pass through the medulla oblongata, through the brain, it goes into refraction because of different densities, and then passes into the medulla oblongata, losing some of its resultant on the side, the spinal cord through the medulla oblongata. Another one, which falls on the right hand side, goes to the left hand side through the diffraction. Again, it loses some of its outside, as the resultant is divided into two, one going down and one this way, and goes down in the medulla oblongata. The one which falls on the apex of the brain passes through the center and part of it, quite a part of it, escapes into the triangular bone as Kundalini. This is the arrangement made when you are born by God. I call it God because it is so. Of course, if there is God or not, that we'll see later on. That proof I'll have to give you, but not just now. This happens in a very subtle manner because, as I told you, is a subtle energy, but is expressed in the gross way. In our being, as three autonomous nervous systems, the central one is known as the parasympathetic nervous system. Is expressed as the parasympathetic nervous system. There are two sympathetic nervous systems, left and right. But in the subtle form, which Kabir has described very clearly. In the subtle form, the channels that are carrying those different energies are in the center. The channel is called as Sushumna Nadi. On the right hand side one channel, it is called as the Pingla Nadi, and the left hand side one is called as the Ida Nadi. These are the subtle things which are existing inside the medulla oblongata, not outside. So, you see, when a doctor opens the medulla oblongata, the person dies. How can you see? How can you see a subtle form of energy through your eyes? You cannot see even your electricity through your eyes unless and until there is a lamp which is enlightened. So you cannot see those energies which are at work inside in a subtle form, but you can see the expression of it in the gross form outside. Now these three energies are like the breath which flows through a flute. The breath that flows through a flute passes through 7 holes. In the same way, there are 7 chakras, basically main. When we say 7 holes, actually there are more. Basically, I am saying, I'll tell you about the other ones later on. Just now I am telling you the absolutely, as I told you in the primary first standard class, I am telling you the basic thing. So the chakras, the centers that are placed within our being, which are existing there and acting there, and which are in a subtle form, are expressed outside as plexuses. Which doctors know? Is there any doctor in this group? All right. They are expressed as plexuses. And doctors know about the plexuses because they can see the plexuses outside. But what are the centers that are control them? I do not know if the medical science has gone that far to accept that there are centers inside the medulla oblongata which is controlling these centers. I don't know. I have done medicine for the same reason because I had to talk to these doctors and scientists later on. So I have done it. But at that time, it was not so. Even in my nomenclature, you see, I'll be using those old terminologies, which I learnt in my young age. And if there's any difference, you shouldn't mind it, because you people are changing your nomenclature every now and then. So these subtle centers that are placed inside the medulla oblongata act on the gross plexuses that are outside. Doctors will accept that much, I know. They won't have an objection to that. But little further they will not go. They cannot. They should not, as doctors. But as SahajaYoga, they will. Once you have the experience, and once you have found out, then why will you say no? But one thing we must know, that if there is no microscope, how can you see something that is in a cell? With these eyes, you may not be able to see something, but supposing you get those eyes which are microscopic, and if you tell others, they are not going to believe, because they must also get the microscopic eyes. This is the little problem of SahajaYoga. That it has to happen to you, that you could see all these things what I am talking about. Now, let us see what are these centers. Now when I describe them, you need not get a fright. You need not accept. Again and again I am trying. You see, with children it is very difficult. You have to take them this way, that way. God knows where their mind will just slip out. You see, they will find out some loophole somewhere and just disappear. So I have to take your attention properly, so that you get the stuff that you are here for. That you get what you have within yourself. You get your own powers, so that you know yourself. So I have to, you see, chide you and look after you and manage you very well, so that there is no problem. Don't allow your attention to just capture your mind to take you away, you see, because your mind will be playing tricks with you. So be careful. Of course, you should not also get brainwashed by what I am saying. You can judge me very well whether whatever I am saying is correct or not. Now the lowest chakra. This chakra, the center, which is a subtle, again I am saying it is a subtle center, is not a gross center, is a subtle center placed outside the human body. And the subtle is not localized at a point. You see, it's an energy outside the spinal cord, in the prostate gland, and is known. Now somebody might say that if the prostate gland is removed, then it exists still. But it has, supposing there's a chair, I'm sitting on that, I say she's sitting on the chair. Now the chair is removed, I am not removed. Or if they say that men have prostate glands, so what about the women? You see, like that, the questions can come up. So I'm saying it's a living, subtle center. So you don't worry about their chairs. I'm just giving you a little location, which may not be the same for everyone. And it acts on the pelvic plexus, which we call as Mooladhara chakra in the Sanskrit language, because that time there was no English language. That doesn't mean that I am preaching anything Hinduism or anything like that. All these saints I will tell you. I will also tell you about Christ where he exists. I will also tell you about Muhammad Sahib where he exists, about all of them. So it is no question of one religion or anything, but these are different things which came in the evolutionary process of man, and all the evolution that took place in every human being is within himself, is recorded, and is standing on that. For example, as you come up to first story, you should know that the whole first story is there. Second story, it exists. Third story, it exists. In the same way, all these stories that you have climbed in your all evolutionary process are on these 7 steps which I am telling. So the first step is that of Muladhara Chakra, which is controlled by a deity, is a symbol. Same from the universal unconscious, I'm telling, is a symbol. And this symbol is that of Sri Ganesh. This is going to shock everyone. The very few, they will have a photograph of Sri Ganesha, no doubt, but will believe that this is a living symbol that exists within us on this point. He does. What is the proof and everything, I will tell you. But first, just now, you see for yourself. Is Sri Ganesh. And then if I tell you that the same Sri Ganesh, which is a symbol here, has incarnated on this earth as Jesus Christ. He is the symbol of eternal child, of holiness. And as you know that this center controls the sex also. This symbol suggests that in religion, you must have innocence of Sri Ganesh. Those who say that sex can be sublimated, tantrikas who use sex for sublimation, are the greatest sinners on this earth. Sex has to be sanctified and holy. If you do not have a sanctified and holy sex, you cannot get your realization. I'm sorry. Those who talk of liberation of sex must realize this. They are ruining their Kundalini completely, because Kundalini is like a mother Gauri who is sitting inside there. And for Indians it is very easy to understand that you cannot have sex with your mother. Those who talk of exciting sex for realization are the greatest sinners, because this is the greatest sin. And those who excite their own ideas about sex by accepting all these licentious and permissive things about their sex, which is the holiest of holy, are killing their tabernacle. They are completely finishing off themselves. There is no saving for such people. It's going to be very, very hard for them. One has to work very hard for these people. And if you come to my London center, they will tell you what happens, how difficult it is. One shudders to see how we have played foolishly with ourselves by experimentations. Will you experiment yourself with these electrical appliances? Let me see anybody who puts their hands into the oven to experiment. Without holiness, you cannot talk of God. Take it from me. You may not like it. No. Many won't like it. Because a guru must sit down here and say, yes, yes, you must do. You need a guru also for such a thing. Imagine human beings as they are. They keep a guru who says, this is the greatest dharmic thing you must do. Imagine. Tomorrow you have to face God. Remember, even if you do not get your realization. Those who try these tricks are punished in this lifetime. They don't have to take course to any other life or after death. In this lifetime, you have to have a sanctified, holy, married life. Marriage institutions, according to human beings, it is made by human beings. It is not. It is made by God. I am not here to please you. I have to tell you the fact and the truth of life. One has to lead a very holy life. That is the essential part. And I am very sorry for one thing, that Christ, who was the incarnation of that holiness, who is worshipped in those countries, is being insulted completely by those people. He was a celibate person throughout. And today they are making a picture on the sex life of Christ. In India is not possible. Thank God. Here it is not possible. They dare not talk like this, shamelessly and vulgarly. There is no shame about it in those people. They have forgotten God. And that's why when I talk of Sri Ganesh, you must know that you have to be like a child when you want to have the blessings of Kundalini, because she is your mother and she is all the time following you. She is born again and again within you, and she is watching you, and she is recording all that you have been doing. And who is doing the recording? In the heart, you find there is the flicker of spirit, of Atma, which is the reflection of God Almighty. That is the spirit which records, because it witnesses, it's a sakshi, it's a witness, whatever you are doing in life, and is all recorded in the Kundalini. And at the time of Kundalini awakening, she shows. And many people who ask me, Mother, how do you know? Because the Kundalini is my part, she tells me all that. And I know about their problems because she tells me. It's all recorded, like a tape recorder. You have got the cassette, the spindle, it is there. And the Kundalini is in the form of Gauri, who is a virgin just married to Shiva. It's a symbolic expression. It's a poetic expression that she is sitting and having her bath before meeting her Lord. And Shiva is in the heart, the Atma. And Ganesha, she creates out of her vibrations on her being. She takes out the mala, as they call it, the dirt, and makes a Ganesha. Ganesha is created by Mother, as Christ was created by Mother herself. And she places him behind the bathroom, you can say, to safeguard her lajja. You can say her chastity. So he looks after her protocol. Nobody can enter through that side. It is prohibited. Who can rise to the status of Sri Ganesha? Who is beyond all contamination? Who is holiness personified? He is like a lotus born out of the mud. We worship Ganesha in the house, and we do all kinds of things with ourselves. We are not bothered about holiness, about keeping our dignity. How can he be pleased with us? But Ganesha doesn't come in the Kundalini rising, because Kundalini is placed higher. Already she is placed higher in all of us. We are already sublimated. So he is the only one who sanctions. He is in charge. Then you find a very white round center, which is called as the Nabhi Chakra. Those who understand Hindi or Marathi or Sanskrit know what is Nabhi. It's a nib We can call it the navel chakra. It has then later. Then the Nabhi chakra is also called as Manipur chakra in the Sanskrit language. But for our practical purposes, name does not matter. Is the Nabhi chakra, we can say everybody understand what is a Nabhi. But it is not here in the Nabhi, it is at the back, in the medulla oblongata. It is placed. Now this Nabhi chakra or the Manipur chakra is the center which controls the solar plexus in the human beings. This is the center, is the center of dharma, of religion. When I talk of religion, everybody will say, oh, Mataji believes in religion. Now you must understand what is the word dharma means. Dharma means dharayati sadharma. Your sustenance. Carbon has 4 valencies. Every element has got a different property. That is the dharma of every element. Every animal has got a certain quality. That is the dharma of an animal. Human beings also have some sustaining qualities. They are human beings, otherwise they are pishachas or rakshasas or devils or satans. Or they are subhuman. To be a human being, minimum of minimum, you must have those 10 qualities, 10 dharmas within yourself. If you do not have, you are not a human being. You become satanic. You become subhuman. Your awareness goes down, is lowered. These are about the 10 commandments, I should say about, because there are certain things which are not mentioned in them clearly in the Bible. These are the 10 basic qualities in a human being one should have, and if you do not have, then there are problems. For example, we should not shock people, is drinking. People say, what's wrong in drinking, Mataji? Simple thing, it goes against your awareness. See, these drinks and all these alcohols, they're not created for drinking at all. They were created by God, no doubt, but for polishing. You see, if you want to polish a diamond, you have to use gin. Gin is not meant for drinking, for human consumption. It is not meant. This is human brain, it's such a wonderful thing that it is using gin for their stomachs. It spoils their liver, gives them cancer. And you blame God for all these calamities of the world. Smoking. Now, of course, many are saying smoking causes cancer. Thank God. What is tobacco meant for is for insecticide. It's an insecticide. I'm telling the truth. But you use it for intoxication. Or what you call, I don't know. Now when all the gurus, even Moses, they told about this. All the gurus have told. Incarnations have not, but gurus have. And the real ones. I'm not saying these fake ones that are these modern days are just making a business proposition of everything. I'm not talking about them, but the real ones. Who are all born in this void. The void described by the Zen system of religion. All the 10 gurus. We can say the major again, the 10 gurus. Are incarnated. They tell us about the dharma. The center, Nabhi chakra, is governed by the deity called as Vishnu. And his power is Lakshmi. Now, if your Nabhi chakra is caught, whatever you may try, you cannot get the blessings of Lakshmi. You cannot get. And even if you have Lakshmi, it will disappear. It's a fact which can be proved. This Nabhi Chakra is controlled by a deity Vishnu, which is the sustaining aspect of God. Vishnu gives the different dharmas to us. That's how he has evolved us from amoeba to human beings. He himself has incarnated as a leader many a times. We call it Dashavatara. And he has led us through this incarnation. And his power is Lakshmi, is the goddess of welfare, they say, or you can call it is wealth. It is not. It's a very subtle thing. Very subtle. That's a symbol one should understand because it is concerned with us. Lakshmi has got a womanly figure, a mother's figure. She doesn't have an actress's figure. You see, the ratio of actresses and these what you call beauty contests are not good ratios at all. They do not emit any vibrations. On the contrary, they emit very dirty vibrations, I must say. Very vulgar, very filthy. Lakshmi is a mother. She doesn't use her body for provocative expressions. No, she's a mother. So a Lakshmipati, a man who is supposed to be adorned by a Lakshmi, a rich man, should have a personality of a mother. A one who is Lajjashila, as we call it, who is chaste, who respects the chastity, who is loving, generous, affectionate, like a mother. Mother tolerates all the nonsense of the people, of the children. Then, in her two hands, she has two beautiful pink-colored lotus, two flowers of lotus. The lotus expresses the Shri. Shri means the grace. If I say beauty, immediately your eyes will go to those beauty contests. I do not mean they are not beautiful. Beautiful is not a word which these days means provocative. No. Beauty means the complete personality that emits vibrations, which is a form or is the same as joy and Anand. That we call it Anand, joy, and also consciousness. That is a very complicated thing. So I would just say that is the form that emits the vibrations of joy. In her hand are two lotus flowers, which are pink, means such a person has to be a warm person, has to be a cozy personality, and his house should be as cozy. It should not be all polished and varnished. And if somebody comes in the house, he drops a little flower there, the woman starts getting angry, or the man says, "Oh, you have dirtied my house, will you please clean it?" Such a house is not a home. It has to be a home for all the people. Such a man is a Lakshmipati. Otherwise, morning till evening, the fighting going on between husband and wife. You didn't keep the house clean, you must clean this, you must sweep that. As if the cleanliness has become the main part of human life. I can understand that basic cleanliness should be there. For Indians, we should not tell this because they lack that completely. They have the other extreme. रास्ते में चलते चलते जहाँ देखो हाथ थूक देने का. Of course. But another extreme also is not good, that all the time the divorces are taking place because of cleanliness. So fussy that you can't live together. You develop a sort of a mania, or sort of you become abnormal. People, you suffer from the sickness of cleanliness, morning till evening, afraid. This is to be done, otherwise it will be dirty. You think 10 steps forward march. The place should not be dirty. Of course it should not be dirty, it is a simple thing. But it should not be that much worked out, that the home becomes a hospital. Home is a home. Children must feel it's a home. Let them play, let them spoil. In London, you'll be surprised. My husband's secretary told me that my children were coming. That aren't you worried? I said, why? He said, your house will be all spoiled. I said, what? My grandchildren are coming. I'm looking forward for everything that I can do for them. How did it come into your head that my house will be spoiled? It can be cleaned. You have so many ways of cleaning the house. So the house should be cozy and comfortable. Of such a person who is rich, is not a Lakshmipati. But a Lakshmipati is a rich person. He receives people with a big heart. So, the coziness of the lotus should be in that Lakshmi. In another hand, in the two other hands, one hand has this symbol like this, another is like this. This suggests that such a man must do dan. Now in English I don't know what is the word for dana, because nothing is that dignified. Dan means giving alms, but it is not dignified word. You can say, Kavin, what word will you say for dan? Tell me in English. You see, that to give away. Charity also is little bit, you see, to be charitable means, you see, you are higher than the person whom you charity. Offering, if you say, then it's a different meaning in. But I would say dan means by which sharing takes place. Sharing. Generosity? Do you think it's nearest? Alright. Generosity. But generosity, yeah. You can say at the most generosity. But giving your generosity, you can say. And by this is ashraya. Means there should be people depending on such a person. So, you have to be an enlightened person. So that people should depend on. A rich man has to be a dignified person. But normally it is not. A rich man, first of all, he will start dressing up like a teenager. He might be the age of 60 years. You find many like that. Immediately all his dignity is fallen off. As soon as he becomes. Then he must go to races. He must take to drinks. He must be found on the street. Some policeman must. And it must appear in the paper. Now, I've seen some also horrid things about women who are rich. I must say that this happened in England, but it's funny. For you people it will be funny, but it's common there. A 90-year-old woman, rich woman, 90-year-old rich woman, having a love affair with a 19-year-old boy. She's a rich woman. I mean, I don't know what to call this. Stupidity. The rich in India, God save, no enlightenment of any kind they have. If they had, there would have been no problems at all. So this is a symbol of Lakshmi at this stage. The sustaining power is the Lakshmi. The sustainers. What should be the dharma and all that? Now if I discuss it will be too much. But I've told you, for example, drinking goes against the dharma of man. It goes against the dharma of man. Because it goes the awareness of man. If you lose your awareness, how are you going to rise to a higher awareness? Now people know by drinking these things happen. But they will say, what does it matter, Mataji, if you drink a little bit for our society? But what does it matter if you take a little poison? You'll get used to it. Gradually you will start taking poison. There are so many people, in this country especially, If they take a little of tobacco, they feel giddy and fall on the ground. This tobacco. There must be some in you also. They cannot even look at tobacco. There must be some. But there are some who can take tons inside their being. How is it? Both are human beings. So by little and little, those countries who have accepted this as a social thing have done the greatest harm to themselves. Because in the beginning, they were taking only little. That was, I should say, about 100 years back, you can say about 200 years back. But today, if you go and see them, they are alcohol. They can't live without. So the pioneers were the little ones, and the sufferers are those now who are fed up with alcohol because they think it doesn't intoxicate, so they have taken to drugs, or they think it's another experiment. So you have more police force. You do all kinds of things to control it. It's not possible. Muhammad Sahib has clearly said no intoxications. Nothing at all. Nanak has said the same. They are both the same people, you will be surprised. Same people born at different times. Same people teaching the same thing. Nanak said the same thing, no smoking, nothing. But today there are no Sikhs. In the morning they wear. Sikhs are fighting in London that we should not wear the helmets. Imagine. Where is it written? In which book Nanak Sahib has written this? I would like to see. That helmet, on the contrary, he said, Bhesh kya fayde ka? What is the use of changing your dress? And they are fighting on this point. But the way the Sikhs drink in London, the Britishers are ashamed. They think that they are no good compared to Sikhs, the way they can consume. And they are fighting in the name of religion. It's a fact, I'm telling you. That the helmet they cannot wear because they must have a right and freedom to crack their heads on a scooter. What is this? There is a big procession every someday they take it out against protesting. My hat's off to all these people. That is what they have done out of Nanak Sahib. And the Muslims, think of that. They have written poetry on drinking. Now if I say you don't have to drink, they will think this lady is talking from about 10,000 years back. But it's a fact. I'm telling you, it is not meant for human consumption at all. None of these things. Now they might say that Christ was drinking wine. Now wine never means alcohol. Grape juice, which is fresh, which is unfermented, is different. But the fermented, even molasses, anything you can ferment, it becomes an alcohol, which is satanic, is a process only to be used for polishing things. You are drinking the polish. And all your intestines all are polished off night. And your liver is ruined. And then you come to Mataji, our liver is ruined, now what to do? How to cure it? Now if I tell you, don't drink, it's very bad. But these days, there are gurus like that, They say, you drink, do whatever you like. Only thing, give your purse here behind me. You can do whatever, you can even smuggle. You see, there was a guru who was teaching smuggling, actual smuggling to people. And all the shishas were caught in Jakarta. When they were smuggling, they lost billions and billions of dollars there. And when I went to Singapore, they came to me, this has happened. I said, no, where is your guru? He has gone to Switzerland. I said, when I? He said, you do whatever you like. Bring the purse here, that's all. If you cannot look after your wife and children, give them here also. You sacrifice everything in the name of God. And give everything to me, very nicely. You sacrifice. There are many who will support it. They are not gurus. If I tell you, they are Rakshasas. They are demons. Otherwise, nobody can do like this. These are demonic. things. They are not afraid of anything. They have no conscience. Those who have no conscience are devils. They are not afraid of God. And they are doing everything in the name of God. Tomorrow they have to face God, no doubt. But you will also face. And when God will ask you, what have you been doing? Then you will find that you have no answer. You will say, I had kept a guru there. I was paying money to him. I was looking after him. He did this much. He said, what about your kundalini? What about your awakening? What about your realization? He said, that I don't know. I had kept one guru. You see, I was paying. He said, all right, where the guru has gone, you also go there. And you'll find the guru settled down very nicely among the worms in the deepest forests of hell. Take it from me. There is no need even for these people to die. They will face it in this lifetime. All such people have faced. You have seen what has been the condition of gurus. So this is the center part of void which has to look after. And another center that you find there is the center known as Swadhisthana Chakra, which creates, which is a creative power within us. By this center, we think, we plan, and also our body is catered to. Now, other day only I discovered that doctors do not know what is the reason for diabetes. I'm surprised. I'll tell them. You can verify it. It's very easy. This is the center which does two things. It thinks, plans. In Delhi, everybody's Swadhisthana Chakra is caught. Why? Because too much of planning is going on here. Everybody is planning like mad. But there has to be certain balance between your thinking and between your emotions. You must have also a little balance. I don't know whether doctors think of the balance of the emotion with this. They do not. So the diabetes is caused because of this imbalance. You are all the time using this center for too much thinking, too much planning. But the same center looks after the upper part of the liver, spleen, kidney, and also the uterus. And also the thinking. So if you are thinking too much, you are using the energy on one side and there is no way of filling the petrol back. Then what happens? That your spleen suffers. It doesn't get the energy and you get the disease known as diabetes, which is only known to the people who think too much. It is not known to the poor people. They eat such a lot of sugar, they don't have to stop sugar. They eat such a lot of carbohydrates and such a lot of sugar, especially sugar, but they do not get diabetes because they do not think too much. Now thinking has become like a disease with people. They cannot stop it also. It grows like a horn in the head. All the time thinking, they go mad. And they say how to stop it. It can only be stopped when the Kundalini rises above. You go beyond thought. And the thinking creates within us on the left hand side of the brain through the Pingala Nadi, through the right side channel, it creates the ego. Is the ego. All thinking is done through ego. Those which are developed countries have worked out their developing through their ego. So the ego developed so much in that country that they got fed up of it. So what has happened as a reaction? The other side of it started growing. The younger people there started taking to drugs, taking to sedatives, which created in them the superego. The ego gave, Douglas is laughing, it's a fact, he knows he's done it. And he has crossed it and he has overcome it and he has won it. So he's laughing. And the superego has risen now to push back the ego. For a Westerner always will say, oh, I'm so bad. I'm so no good. I'm good for nothing. It's not humility. It's the super. It's the superego that is acting. While in India, the ego is rising. Be careful. You have to be in balance with ego and superego. If it is in the center, then only I can raise the kundalini. If there is an imbalance, I have to remove the imbalance. And it is removed. The center known as the Swadhisthana Chakra, which also controls the aortic plexus outside, is governed by a deity which we know very well is Brahmadev. And his power is Saraswati. He has incarnated only once on this earth, and you'll be surprised if I tell you who was that, is Hazrat Ali. He was the son-in-law of Muhammad Sahib. Muhammad Sahib is the incarnation of the primordial master or the Adi Guru, who incarnated in the void in the Bhavasagar. And he is the same as Nanak. But if I tell this to Muslims, they'll kill me or the Sikhs will kill me. One of the two. I don't know who will come first. I don't think this time they are going to crucify. But they are not going to like it. They are the same people. There are 10 of them born like that. They are the same people born again and again. And they are the people, if you accept them in only one incarnation, they are not going to accept. You have to accept them in all their incarnations. I'll give an example. There was a doctor who was suffering from the cancer of stomach, Muslim. He met me in London. And when I told him that you have to worship Dattatreya, he got a shock of his life. He said, you mean to say I must give up my religion? I said, your religion is in imbalance. He was the same as Muhammad Sahib. Actually, Dattatreya incarnated as Muhammad Sahib. He said, I cannot do that. I only believe in Muhammad Sahib. I said, all right, I cannot cure your cancer because cancer is because of imbalance. It's too much activity on one side. Overactivity of the sympathetic nervous system causes cancer. You write it down today and you can verify it. And that's why when people say I've cured cancer, I have, no doubt. Not only me, but even this doctor who is here has cured cancer. Cancer is only curable through the balance of SahajaYoga. Otherwise, it's not possible. Take it from me. So the imbalance of this man, he would not listen. But cancer is a great thing that way. He had to come back. All right, mother, I accept. I said, all right, now will you pray to Dattatreya? A Muslim has to become a Hindu, and a Hindu has to become a Muslim. A Sikh has to become a Muslim, and a Muslim has to become a Sikh. How can you divide God into so many ways? This division is like the atom being split. You are splitting. You are finding all ways and methods of splitting each other. And what you are gathering is the volcanic force of destruction within yourself. So the so-called drunkards who call themselves Muslims and the so-called drunkards, the Sikhs, must know that they are very far away from the Gurus whom they worship as their leader. And as Christ said, you'll be calling me Christ, Christ, and I won't recognize who you are. It's going to be that. For cancer, you have to have balance of understanding the complete integrated form of God, which has come on this earth, incarnated as different flowers on the same one tree of life, which has been at different levels. Like in a tree, you have sometimes, first you have the leaves, then you have the flowers, then you have the fruits. But these are the flowers of the same tree. have been taken away by different people just to create problems of dead flowers. They are living on the same living tree of life. So, I have told you already about one chakra, that is Muladhara chakra, the Muladhara where Kundalini resides. Then about the Nabhi chakra, from where it rises, the Swadhisthana chakra, which moves round and round and creates the Bhavasagara. I have also told you about the spirit, the flicker of light that exists in the heart, which is looked after by Shiva. The flicker of light, which is the Sakshi, which is the witness. It is like a flicker that you find in a gas light. Now the gas itself is not enlightened. The gas itself is the energy, but is not enlightened. The flicker is enlightened. When the gas passes over to the flicker, it also gets enlightened. That is what is SahajaYoga is. That is what is the Kundalini awakening, when it touches that flicker. But the flicker has got the seat on top of the head here, which is known as the seat of the Sadashiva. And this is the form or aspect of God which is existence. God, Shiva, is existence. And this is the first form which emerges into all these forms, like the seed emerges into the whole tree and becomes the seed. And ultimately, at the dissolution point also, it becomes Shiva. That's why it is known as Shiva, means a permanent form. It doesn't go into any formations. It doesn't incarnate. It is a witness which watches. That's the aspect of God. So you have got three aspects of God. The first one, which is the Shiva, which is the existence. The second one, which is the creator, which is Brahmadeva. And the third one, which is Vishnu, which is the sustainer, which evolves, which gives evolutionary movement, which incarnates, which has incarnated 10 times. Now, the chakra above that, you see in the center, which we call as Sacred Heart, is in the center. Is known as the cardiac center. You can say Hridaya chakra. You all know what is Hridaya chakra. Is placed here, behind, in the medulla oblongata, but outside also is a cardiac plexus. Now this center, the cardiac center, is governed by the deity Jagadamba, the mother of the universe. Parvati, wife of Shiva, the power of Shiva, takes her place here to help the struggling evolutionary human beings who are trying to evolve themselves, to protect them from the satanic, from the demonic forces. She is known as Lalita. She is known by many names. They say she has been incarnated 108 times. She has been incarnated many times. She has incarnated as a Amsha also, as a part of her, has also been incarnated. She is the essence of Raksha, is the protection. A person who suffers from insecurity gets this problem here. He gets disturbed. People who suffer from fear have this problem here. She gives us the protection. She is the protector. And she is the mother of this world, Jagadamba. On the right hand side of the heart exists, left hand side I've already told you, right hand side exists the symbol of Sri Ram, and his power is Sita. Sri Ram is at an evolutionary stage, came as a leader on this earth, as an incarnation of Vishnu, eighth incarnation. And he tried to show the political leadership of a divine nature. He incarnated on this earth 12,000 years back. And at that time, in the whole awareness of human beings, the idea of a leader, as a political leader, was born. He is responsible for creating the political awakening within us 12,000 years back in the human awareness. His power was Sita, his wife, who was a very simple woman. But she was the form of Adishakti. We know she was. Because at that time the people were very sensitive, they could see that. These days people are not. They cannot make out a Ravana from Sita. See, that is what is the condition of our sensitivity. This is the central force, is known as the force of Mahalakshmi. So the Lakshmi is born as Sita for the first time as a human being. On the left-hand side force is known as the force of Mahakali. Vidyut, I wanted to meet you. अच्छा पार हो गए ना? अच्छा. What time are you leaving? अभी खत्म कर ले lecture. Can she come tomorrow? Tomorrow morning is the meditation. Oh God. Kathmandu में जा रहे हैं. Sure. I'm also going to Kathmandu on the 16th evening. Will you be there? All right, so you can give her the address. I will try to contact you. All right? May God bless you. So, the left-hand side power is known as Mahakali's power, and the right-hand side known as the Mahasaraswati's power. Now, the central power is for evolution. The central power, or you can say the central ascending column, is meant for the evolution of man. So you are born, all of us, in the Bhavasagara state. Now you have to ascend from one to another, to another, to another. The higher one than that is, as I told you, on the right hand side is that of Sri Rama, and his power is Sita. The complete form of Vishnu came to human beings 6,000 years back as Sri Krishna. That is at this chakra known as Vishuddhi chakra. Sri Krishna is the complete form. Why we say the complete? Because for him the whole play, the whole Leela was to be just seen. This whole creation was nothing but just a play created. He had reached that stage and he talked of it. He said, Nainam chiranti shastrani, nainam dahati pavak. You cannot be killed by any instrument or by anything. And he did samhara. His greatest quality was that he killed many demons on this earth. Now those who talk of non-violence will say, oh, he was a violent man. There is a divine method which has to be employed to kill those demons. That was needed. And he did kill. He was the incarnation of a diplomat. What is a diplomat? Diplomat is a person who is a sakshi, who is a witness, who plays the divine diplomacy. He played the divine diplomacy. And you are still in that diplomacy when you read Gita. Very much. I'll tell you in 2 sentences how to understand his diplomacy in Gita. Very necessary. He said, in the very beginning, at the very outset, that you seek him within yourself. He told Arjuna, you seek him within yourself. You have to become a sakshi. Arjuna, being a mediocre, asked him a question that you are saying that you must seek him within yourself, you should become a sakshi, a witness, and here you are telling me to go on the war, to kill people, to kill my own brothers, kill my own relations. What he wanted to say, that it's all a play, but it only becomes a play when you become that witness, when you are realized. That's what he told him. But Arjuna was a mediocre in this respect. So he, being a father, he understood. Like a father who comes out of his hut and sees his son beating the cart. So he tells him, you bring the horse in front of the cart, then only the cart is going to move on. But the child, the son, doesn't want to listen to his father. He says, no, I'm going to beat the cart. So he plays the diplomacy, the father. The mother does not. Mother tells you the fact. So he played the diplomacy there. Divine diplomacy. He says, all right, you go on beating. But keep your attention on the horse and you will go forward. That's an absurd thing. It cannot happen, you know. He told something absurd. So he says, all right, do your karmas. But put it at the feet of the Lord. You cannot do it. It cannot be done. This is something, an impossibility, because there is an ego in you. If you do any work and if you think, oh, I am putting everything at the feet of the Lord, you are just deceiving yourself. This is his diplomacy, his played with you. You cannot. Those who believe in such a thing should know that it's a deception. It can only happen when you become a hollow personality. For these people now, those who are realized, you will see, they will say, it's going, it's coming. Then do not say that I am giving, I am doing. You have to become a hollow thing like this, which just stands and sees and it passes through it. The divine has to flow through you. And about bhakti, about the devotion, dedication is another diplomacy. You see his words. You see, nobody sees. I am surprised. They have written 500 books on Gita. Nobody has seen this simple point, that he has played a diplomacy with you, because you do not know that you are not beyond ego yet. You have to go beyond it to be that. So he says about bhakti also, pushpam phalam toyam, whatever you give me, flower, this I will accept. But while giving, you know, see the diplomacy, one word he plays. In devotion you must do ananya bhakti. See the word ananya. Ananya means when you are not the other, when you are united, when you are one with it. When do you become one? When you are realized. Everybody will say, oh yes, yes, you must do bhakti, take Krishna's name, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, develop a cancer of the throat. Yes, they do, all of them, I tell you. So many have come to me for treatment and I said, now what am I to tell them? Go say Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, will get to God. Very easy method, you know. You go on jumping on the Oxford Street, you dance, wear a dhoti which is falling off, you get to God. What a stupid idea. But there are many. They are now begging in Guntur. I went there. That's settled down nicely. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, everywhere. They came to me, are in India? Yes, I said, by chance I am. Will you buy this book? Only give me 5 annas. It's all right. I will not mind 5 annas. I said, thank you very much. And they are near God, begging like poor people. They have no shame in the name of God. Taking his name and begging. You have to do ananya bhakti. Means you have to be a realized soul. Now, how do you know a person is a realized bhakti or not? Very easy. A person who speaks of separation, like Surdas, he was not a realized soul. Those who talk of their tortures, oh God, when are you going to meet me? They are not realized souls. But those like Kabir and Nanak, like Christ. Christ was an incarnation. But those who talk and sing the praise of meeting are the people who are realized. I mean, a person who has met God, why should he talk of separation? It is a simple thing. But we like the songs of the people who talk of their, you see, I don't know what you call that, who killed himself, who started calling himself, oh Lord, when are you going to meet me? He broke his neck there, he broke his head there. What is the need to do all this? They are fasting. Why are you fasting? I don't understand. Why do you want to make your body weak? In this body, the Lord is going to come. And this body is fasting. If fasting people have to get God, at least 30% people of this country should get it automatically. They are made to fast. Huh? क्या कह रहे? Women, Santoshi Ma, fast. Any fast, you know, that's gone to such an absurd limit. And these Brahmins, I will put them responsible. They have given all wrong ideas. Absolutely juxtaposition. How? On a Sankashti, the day when Sri Ganesh is born in the family. See, imagine, that day you must fast. Imagine the argument behind it. That day, you see, supposing somebody is born in your family. I mean, you celebrate. You're so happy. उस दिन खुश हो. कुछ शौक रखना चाहिए. Supposing I come to your house and you are fasting, I'll run away the next moment. You see, if you write, today we are fasting, nobody is going to come to your house. If you have to share in fasting, you can do, like Karwa Chauth, they share in fasting. You should fast only on one day, definitely, you must. That is Narak Chaturdashi. That day they will eat, because that day Narakasura was killed. And he was put in the Naraka, means the hell. He was put down there, and the gates of the hell were open for him, and all such people are put on that day into the hell. So that day you should not get up early in the morning, sleep in your bed.
But it doesn't appear in the calendar.
See, the calendar I don't know who has made.
So many people.
You see, but we must use our brains. What is a Narak Chaturdashi meant? Actually, these must be some Rakshasas, must be some devils who must have created these calendars for some of them. That you must fast. I don't know who has written such a nonsensical thing. The day when the gates of the Narakas are open, that day they will get up at 4 o'clock, take their bath, and nicely eat. All the Rakshasas will be going with the food inside the stomach in the Nabija. The picture has appeared of some Santoshima. Everybody fasting on Friday. Then the absurd ideas about eating food, that makes a difference. Also, this is being introduced. In Gita also, I am sure, there are so many things which are being brought, which are wrong. To say that you are born a Brahmin, and that is postnatal or prenatal, as they call it, prenatal. And how can that be? You just think it over. Use your brains. I would say use your brains. Vyasa, the author of Gita. Author of Gita, Vyasa. Whose son was he? Do you know? He was a son of a fisherwoman. Illegitimate son. You know, all of you. Of Parashar Muni. And he is going to write that you have to be born as a Brahmin. Those who think that by being born as Brahmins you become Brahmins, I must say, are sadly mistaken. Brahmin means a person who is reborn, who is a realized soul, who has known the Brahma. It describes a tendency of a person who is seeking God. It's the Brahmin caste. It's a tendency. How can Vyasa write like this? You just tell me. How can Vyasa write like this? Now this is being put onto his head. Just pinned onto him like the Tantrikas. Oh God, they are the worst of all. They have spoiled all our scriptures, they have spoiled all our Shilpa Shastras, they have spoiled everything. The greatest demons that could be born in this country were the Tantrikas. They have ruined all the beauties of our scriptures. Even Ashwamedha Yajna, they connect it with sex. I mean, there's limit to things. And that's why when the people go to Konarak, they think, oh, Konarak, the most enchanting place in the whole country. Nothing more better than that. Rest is this Khajuraho. Actually, that's the only aspect which has spoiled all the beauty of that place. If they didn't have that, it would have been much better. Konarak, of course, the architect himself was a Tantrika, so I cannot say anything about it. Such a horrid fellow he was. But here, the poor architects were given prizes by these licentious and permissive kings to produce new styles and new types of these horrible erotic pictures. There was a competition held and it entered into our Shilpa Shastra, into our sculptures. It has gone up to the south. And you'll be amazed, in the south there's a temple where they have shown a bad relationship between Gauri and Ganesha. Can you believe it? And are we to accept it because it was done by some foolish ancestors of ours? And everybody says, why? It's all right. In your country also, you see, you have these things, we have seen it. Very nice. And they have written books on Kama Shastra, Koko Shastra, this, that. What is the Shastra needed for this thing? I don't understand. Do the animals need any Shastras for creating children? For a simple thing like that, why do you have to read and make so much deliberations? Are you gone mad? All these artificial things I don't understand. For a natural thing, which everyone knows, why should they go into such things? And the result, I'm sorry to say, is 70% impotency today in America. Because all artificiality, the spontaneity is lost, the sanctity is lost. All kinds of diseases. Every third person is diseased. Every third person. You also are following them. After all, the Sahabs have gone, but now we are becoming all Sahabs. The Sahabs have come from England wearing our kurta pajamas, and our Sahabs are wearing ties. Because, you see, somebody told me that we used to think, where are our lords lost? They are in India. From England. उनसे कुछ सीखने का नहीं है, आप जान लीजिए, उनसे कुछ जानने का नहीं. Of course, dress doesn't matter. Whatever you wear, it makes no difference. But main thing is that to know yourself, to be yourself, is a very, very subtle happening. For this, God has placed all these chakras within us. So the outside does not matter so much, no doubt. But in a way it does. In the sense that when there is a deep light, you have to have the earthen pot all right, you have to have the proper amount of oil in it, you have to have the wick properly put up, and then only you can enlighten. If these three things are not all right, then I cannot enlighten you. So these three things are also important. So your dharma has to be all right. Of course, I'm not saying that if you are drinking, you cannot get realization. You can. And you can also get the power to get over your habits in no time, because once you get realized, you get intoxicated by yourself, by your own powers. You can feel in your hand the power flowing like vibrations, cool vibrations. If you use them, then you will know that you can cure people with this. After some time, you can give awakening of the Kundalini. When you will raise your hand, the Kundalini will move in another person. There are many. Now you have got Subramaniam here, who has cured so many people. He is a government servant just like you. He has given awakening to so many people. He has given realization to so many people. You can also do it. The power exists within you, which becomes intelligible or conscious in your central nervous system also, and you can feel it flowing. You can work it out. Now you will know why people have described in the Kundalini awakening, this thing happens, that thing happens. If you go from the wrong side, it is going to happen. You have to be an authorized person. Tomorrow you put your hand in an electrical appliance and you said, there is so many problems. You should not do it. Only the engineer can do it, the authorized person can do it. This is all unauthorized. The first and foremost thing is that such a person has to be a realized person, and not only realized, but has to be a holy person. Three, four air hostesses are friends of such and such person, and he is giving Kundalini awakening. He is eloped with his wife. He is smuggling that side. He is smuggling gold from London, is bringing down by air, and he is giving Kundalini rising. There should be some sense in what people talk. This is a very holy happening, has to happen in the holiest way. Now there is another chakra here. Where is this red spot is? We all put it here, but we do not know why we put it there. This is the center which is placed where the crossing of the optic nerves take place. We can call it optic thalamus at that point. At that point it is placed. And this center controls the pituitary and pineal glands, which control, pituitary controls the ego and the pineal controls the superego. For a doctor, he knows about the pineal and pituitary, but he does not go further than that to know that it controls your ego and superego. Even if he knows, he does not know how to control. Now with SahajaYoga, you can see that they are like two balloons in your head. You can see them. It starts from the Vishuddhi chakra here, got 16 petals, where Sri Krishna reigns, whose power is Radha. And they rise in our head and move like this. There are two balloons which cover up our head completely about the age of 12 years or so. Complete. Calcification is complete at that time. Though to feeling, it is earlier. And that's how you develop a separate personality. You are Mr. So-and-so, he is Mr. So-and-so. Is the articulation. It is like a shell of an egg you are made. You are made like that because you have to grow inside the shell of your own being. You are a separate. वैसे नहीं करो, सबका चित्त वहां जाता है. You are a shell. You are a shell. He is a shell, and you are given the warmth, kept there, developed. In the end, the egg is broken here, and through it comes out a new personality, a new person within, which is a very different person from the one which was before. This is SahajaYoga. So that center which is here placed at the crossing point of the optic nerve is known as the Agya Chakra, and the deity placed there is Mahavishnu. I don't know how far people have read about Devi or Devi Mahatmya or Markandeya or even Adi Shankaracharya. Now Mahavishnu is a creation of Radhaji. He is the son of Radha. He created him out of Sri Ganesha's essence and in a special way. And this child was created in the Vaikuntha stage, in the heaven we can say, and he incarnated on this earth as Jesus Christ. Lord Jesus Christ was not a human being. He took a form, but his body was completely Chaitanya. His body also was completely divine, specially created by his mother, who was Mary, but actually she was Radha herself. Sita became Radha, and then she became Christ's mother. She is Adi Shakti. Mary is not an ordinary woman. She is Radha herself. And if you read about Mahavishnu's birth, you will know that exactly the same is Christ. The name is Mahavishnu, and here it is Christ. Now, Jesus Christ name. Jesus, Jesu or Yesu. This is the name of Yashoda, was given by Radha to her son. We say Yesu or Jesu. And Christ is his surname. Krishna's name came from the word Krishi. Krishi means agriculture. He is the man who has sown the seed. Krishna came and he has sown the seed of that awareness by which you can become the Sakshi of this play, the witness of this play. And Christ's name is Christ, is the same as Krishna's name. When he talks of his father, he talks of Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna was his father. When he describes him all the time of his father, it is Sri Krishna. And in the Vaikuntha stage, it is described very clearly how Sri Krishna himself came to bless him and told him that you will be placed even higher than me because your body will be made out of Chaitanya. Chaitanya, what is the English word for Chaitanya? Of consciousness. But consciousness cannot Chaitanya. Huh?
No.
Divine awareness. Of the divine awareness, you can say the divine awareness itself, the divine vibrations are shown in us in the same way. He is made out of that, like Sri Ganesha. Now, if he so or not, because most of you are Indians here, you might challenge it. You may. I can prove it to you. The cross is the same swastika. The ayudhas or the weapons of Sri Ganesha have become avyakt, are not expressed, because he used one weapon for all of them is of forgiveness. And that is the greatest weapon of all. And that's why at this stage when the Kundalini goes, you have to take his name or you have to forgive people. Forgiveness is the greatest weapon that God has given us. Now it is for you to verify whether I say it is correct or not. But crucifixion is not the message. Crucifixion is the explanation of what Krishna preached, that the Chaitanya, the divine awareness, does not vanish, it is Akshara. It does not get killed. You cannot control it. And this was to be proved in his life through his resurrection. The resurrection is the message of Christ. But as in India, you have done all the mess of all these incarnations. They have done the mess of Christ in two ways. One, by not respecting the celibacy of life. He was a celibate person. He was a holy person. Of course, he respected the marriage institution because he attended the marriage. You have crucified him again. And secondly, which is His power of forgiveness. Complete power of forgiveness. But they had empires. They now want to have economic controlling power. And all kinds of these things they are doing under the name of political, I don't know what they call it. They have to be Christians. All that was against him is done now today, as we Indians have done all that was against Hinduism. When Shankaracharya himself has told, Na yogena sankhena, still we are having Hatha Yoga, now we are going to have Hatha Yoga in the college. Patanjali Shastri himself, Patanjali has said not to have Hatha Yoga. For the married people, for the householders, it is meant for very few who go to the jungle, stay with gurus. Every person is having here Hatha Yoga. Now this boy, today he was suffering because of Hatha Yoga. Of course I have stopped it. But still, you'll have heart troubles, you'll have everything. Now you teach your students here and let them have sex also. In the West, very nicely, Hatha Yoga is very good because everybody wants to become an actress. Hatha Yoga is not meant for us, for the householders. It is meant for these standing on the head side. Let them go and break their necks there. One will get after thousands of years. It has been said by many. Those who are realized, now I know them. They are sitting on the hills. They have told my disciples also that we have taken thousands of years to get this and Mataji is just giving you like that. It is. In the same way, so-called Christians have done all that was necessary to kill the image of Christ. It's rather surprising. But I think the opposites are attracted. The drunkards will become the disciples of Muhammad Sahib. All the licentious will become the disciples of Christ. And all the, what we call in Sanskrit, Dravidi Pranayamis will become the Hindus. That's how it is. Just the opposite. The last is the center of Sahasrara, with 1000 petals. Is the limbic area which is surrounded by 1000 petals of this. In the Bible it is said, I will appear before you like tongues of flames. It is like tongues of flames, living tongues of blue flames and white flames and crystal flames and the very silent flames. You can see that. Some of you have seen it. And they are like they act on our nerves. Now the doctors will argue that there are 982. Yes, there was an argument on that also. 982 nerves and 8 motor nerves and this nerves and all of them do not become 1000. I mean, that's not the thing. I have not counted them. 1000 they are, no doubt. So these 1000 petals are the 1000 hands. Imagine in your brain. And this is the kingdom of God. Inside, which is the limbic area. When you cross this door of Agya, you enter into that. And this is ruled by the Adi Shakti, by the primordial mother. And she opens it up. She does. It is her job. At the end of it is the gate or the hole known as the Brahmarandra on top here, which presses the ego and superego on both the sides and takes your attention into that all-pervading power, which is all-pervading. When the Kundalini crosses the Agya, you become thoughtlessly aware. Thoughtlessly aware means you are aware, but there is no thought. You become silent. When it crosses the Brahmarandra, then the vibrations start flowing through you and you get cool vibrations. This morning, about 5-6 people got it. Of course, we have many here who are realized people. All these people who have come from the West are realized people. And they have experimented and they know all about it. And there are many others who have come from Bombay, and those from Delhi also. We have many who are realized, who have those vibrations flowing through them. It happens. It has to happen to you all. You all should get it. Then what happens? By that you become collectively conscious. I said I did not say that you have to become, you become. You get that awareness. Immediately you start feeling the vibrations of other people. That little girl Pragya who came here, she's a born realized. There are many children who are born realized. My 2 grandchildren in Bombay, their granddaughters, and they are both self-realized. The younger one is hardly 10 months and she knows all about Kundalini. You ask her, what is caught? You see, you can feel it on the fingers. Now there's a book which one of my disciples has written, my son or my child has written. It's in Marathi, so far Hindi mein nahi hua hai. No, nothing has been done in Hindi. English also they have published one of my lectures. But in this Marathi book we have given the indications on what things you can feel the chakras. You can feel the centers which are caught in your fingers. Yeah. And you can see, and that's how, as a byproduct, you cure people. That's how the diagnosis comes through, and you can feel it. So tomorrow morning, we are going to have meditation starting exactly at 8:30. I would request you tonight to go sleep off early in the morning, clean yourself, and come here at 8:30 so that we finish the session for you to go to your work. 8:30 early in the morning, you have to come here. And then the Kundalini rising and everything can be done because people are more interested in the lecture. What am I to do? So I'm not doing any awakening today because it's already very late for you. Now, if some of you want to have it, I can work it out. My coffee. World realization means when you separate yourself from your gross awareness and become the subtle being is the realization. That's the beginning. In that first stage, I'm going to tell you tomorrow evening all about it, how in different 3 stages it works out. The first stage is of nirvichar, where you become thoughtlessly aware and collectively conscious through your vibrations. Then in the second stage, you become nirvikalp, in which you start giving realizations to others. And the third stage is a complete self-realization, where you become completely the master of Kundalini of others and your own, and you can work it out. And also, sitting down here, you can feel the Kundalini of all the people all over the world. And also, you can control many elements and events. Even events and elements.